Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Gary Gatto, the voice of the FIS, and you're watching our coverage of round 8 of Season 6 or Season 7. I tell you, it's just been, I am suffering a huge post-Indy hangover I can't begin to tell you. And I'm sure the rest of my my cohorts here in the booth are also suffering right along with me. But we're bringing, this is the Formula Indy Series coming to you from Mugello. Sounds like something that I would serve on a center platter during Thanksgiving. Well, everybody, it's good to be back. Joining me in the booth, broadcast partner, and as always for the FIS here in the booth is Stephen Larkamp. Also joining me is who's been on a number of the broadcasts this season. Was kind of going to wrap up the season with these two guys have done such a great job. Kyle Clindy, Stephen. I know we kind of talked about it in the pre-race. I mean, we are definitely suffering a post-Indy hangover. Starting with you, Stephen, and then over to Clindy. How do you get yourself out of this thing and get you ready to get onto this track that, you know, you've only really practiced at a little bit, you haven't spent the month at, and get yourself back in the mindset that you're in the stretch run of a championship?
Yeah, that's always one of the hard things to do as a driver, is that the hype of Indy is gone, but you still got races to do. Whether it be at the Milwaukee Mile historically with IndyCar, or I guess in this day and age is now Detroit. But here at Mugello, what a contrast, I would say, going from a flat-out super speedway of Indianapolis going to a beautiful winding road course in the heart of Tuscany. This is like it's definitely a contrast, I would say, but I think that contrast is what also gets you excited, because as much as like we're well documented that we love Indianapolis, I don't think anyone can look at what we cover and say that we don't love Indy. But after at least a few 500-mile races worth of Indy over the course of a month, I think we get to the mindset that diversity is the spice of life and redundancy is the starch a little bit. And definitely getting some good, authentic Italian cuisine is really helps liven up the palate a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that couldn't be much of a starker contrast. We're going from a four-cornered left-hand oval, really flat with no elevation changes, to a winding 15-turn road course with only 4 major left-hand turns. Straightaways probably about the same length when you tally it all up together, but the lap time is about double that of the oval at Indianapolis. Mugello here has never been raced in real life by IndyCars, but Formula One is kind of a close enough approximate, and we're about 10 seconds a lap slower than them at their fastest peak, it seems like today.
Indeed, Formula One showed up here as a kind of an off-the-cuff appearance back in 2020. Yeah, it was quite the addition to the calendar, but I think a lot of people agreed after watching that event it is a good track, but surprising to some, because this track is actually directly owned by Ferrari, the car manufacturer. This track is more famous for those that enjoy racing on 2 wheels. It's the classic home of the Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix in the MotoGP series. And it has a history going all the way back in that series, all the way back to when the track was built in the early 1970s. And that really shows that this track, I think, to me, it really deserved a chance on a world-class car racing calendar here, because it's difficult to pass here for sure. Like the best place is definitely turn 1.
It looks very narrow.
Driving experience, yeah, very narrow indeed. But as a driving experience, this one is one of those tracks that I think a lot of drivers enjoy driving around here, I think. And the fact that it's a bit difficult to make a move at the time, and at times I think it can heat up some of the action when people realize that, hey, you gotta make some make or break moves.
Yeah, I think Valentino Rossi owns this place. I think he has 4 or 5 MotoGP wins here. The Doctor.
Oh yeah, 7 overall actually in MotoGP, and then
the real Rossi I want in IndyCar racing. Yes.
Yeah, and then Jorge Lorenzo with 6, Mick Doohan with 5, and Francesco Bagnaia. with 3 so far, including a win this year in this year's Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix a little bit earlier.
There are a lot of fans of MotoGP, a lot of fans, and they make some very impressive video games too, I'll say that.
Oh, yeah.
And they put on a great show at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well. I watched Marc Marquez win his first race on U.S. soil there.
Ah, yes, and that's I think that's definitely one race that a lot of people would love to see come back, especially since the first races ever held at the Brickyard were motorcycle races.
Yes, exactly. We got a minute 30 left to play here in qualifying. We got a small warm-up period before we can go racing, so we have enough time to read off the starting lineup. It's a very MO of this league to have quite the large lineup, and even this late into the season, we're going to see 25 plus here probably line up tonight. So kudos for them to bringing back such a strong field. But Welker is your provisional pole sitter, 128.1. Right next to him is Bensi with the 128.3. And Christopher Hill, who we're watching on the screen right now, the driving instructor here with the 128.6, as he's done. Spath is third, and Svensson is fifth. Not in the lineup is Gavin Sanders, which is my understanding that he's taken away by his real job. He is a real pro driver, and he's taking care of making sure that his real career is taken care of, not a sim career, the one that actually pays the bills. So he's not going to be here tonight, and I'm not sure when his next race is, but it's really going to bring the points, which we'll bring up really quick. We'll bring up the individual points, then we'll bring up the amateur and everything later into the race. But here's the point situation. Welker is your points leader, 263 to 255 for Caleb Bensi and 244 for Gavin Sanders. Even with Gavin missing today's race, I don't think that's enough of a buffer. I don't think Logan could earn enough points to still pass Gavin to get into the top 3. But we will continue to watch these battles. Dan Morero, your highest amateur, is 5th. Dakota Hunter, DeTurk, Yoshikawa, and Flaum, they are your top 10 here in the league. And we are getting ready to
just wrapped up.
Yep, and we're getting ready to do a little warm up. And with that, I can already tell you're on cue. You are ready to read a starting lineup, aren't you?
Yes, and buongiorno everyone. Let's see who is going to be racing tonight. On the pole, Mitch Welker, a blistering fast lap out here in the heart of Italy. 128.119 for reference, about, just as mentioned before, about 13 seconds off of the overall lap record here set in a Formula 1 car, but this is a whole different can of worms. But alongside him will be Caleb Bensi. Had a bit of a struggle on his final run in qualifying there. Let's see if he can make that up in the race, and the defending series champion can take the fight to him. Christopher Hill, the driving instructor, the number 101 machine, will roll off third alongside Logan Spath in the number 3. Mia Ray Svensson in the 96 will roll off 5th, alongside Michael DeTurk in the 47. Frankie Francicia, an old face I definitely recognize quite a bit, especially from a particularly exciting race at Spa-Francorchamps a couple of seasons ago. He will roll off 7th, alongside the 444 Dan Morea, the amateur division points leader, in 8th place. Nate Siefker, former series champion himself, will roll off 9th. He'll be alongside AJ Digby, the number 2 and number 81, making up that row. Byron Daly in the 66 will start off 11th, alongside, there he is, Matt Johnston, the 404. We have found him. He is going to start off 12th. Zach Baum in the 20 will roll off 13th, alongside Jared Wakefield's number 725 machine. Joey Selmett in the number 9 will be starting 15th, alongside the 999 of Kyle Allen. And I don't know if I ever said that number has a bit of a special meaning to me. Indica Scarlet will start off 17th in the number 64, alongside the Fish car. Cody Claiborne, bit of a struggle in this race in qualifying. Starting off 18th, let's see what he can do. Matt Schlosser, the number 400 machine, will start off 19th, and rounding up the top 20, the 906 of Andy Oak. Peter Donchak in the 21 will start 17th, alongside Hayden Herman's number 77, the last of the drivers opposed to qualifying time. The three who have not posted times: JJ Wang's 00, Dan Miglin's number 4, and Kevin Bonomi's number 75. 25 drivers here tonight at Mugello. Definitely worth going across the Atlantic, I think, because Italy in the summer seems like a really good time to me.
And we do have some drivers that will be starting from pit road. We'll get you that list here in just a second, from penalties that have been assessed since Indianapolis. Starting from pit road, and I don't think into today's lineup is Saavedra. White should be starting from pit road, not in the lineup. Digby in the lineup will be starting from pit road, and Herman in the lineup looking like they will be starting from pit road. Those are penalties from the Indianapolis race.
And everyone warming up right now. Caleb Bensi going for a wild ride, trying and seeing how the dirt feels here.
And gotta find those 2/10 on Welker. They've got to be out there somewhere.
Exactly. And as you were talking about, as Caleb Bensi actually loops it, going down the hill there, as you were talking yourself, Clendy, the track limits here are definitely quite an interesting affair.
Yeah, you get a ton of speed if you can run your left sides on those green strips over the rumbles. That gives you an extra 3.5 feet of track width to arc in or uncork the wheel coming out of the turn. It really helps you carry straightaway speed into the long and fast straights we have here. However, some of them will give you a 1x, and some of them won't. I don't know why. There were several laps in practice where I put my left sides basically in the gravel, or
Whoops.
if we're still on Bensi, going through the last S's in the switchbacks, you can just run your left and right sides right through the green, and you pick up 0.5, maybe more. It's very, very fast to abuse everything that's painted and use as little asphalt as possible.
And that definitely serves as quite a contrast, I think, track limit policy-wise, between a track like here in Mugello and a place like kind of a big example of the opposite effect is Circuit of the Americas, where you touch almost anything with paint, but you're getting a 1x. It's quite the difference, I would say, especially since you compare a track like Mugello, where there's a lot of gravel traps here in particular. Coda is essentially a parking lot by comparison. There's a lot of asphalt runoff there, and sure, you lose a lot of time generally doing that, and you have to have track limits somewhere, but it's really easy to get caught out by that at Coda. Not so much here. There's definitely a fine line to toe here.
All right, boys, here we go. Looking in chat, Mad Mike shouting out to Mia. She's one of their AAIR drivers. It's her first race here, so looking forward to a good one, he says. And also says, shout out to Will Roberts. My brain maxes out at 2 cars, so he'll be on the box for Mia. So shout out to Will. Will and I have been trying to do some business with one another and his series, and we're just so jam-packed schedule-wise, we didn't make it happen. And also go Scarlett there from Goodleaf. So got some people in chat. Shout out your favorite drivers, and my man Julian Altina. Thanks for joining us. Everyone's loading in, getting ready to go racing, getting ready to call this opening lap is going to be my man Stephen Larkamp.
Everyone's starting to line up here. Of course, as always in the Formula Indy Series, it's going to be a standing start. Very unique among IndyCar leagues, as we always like to mention. Everyone's slowly but surely getting themselves on the grid. Welker and Bensi, the championship fight on the front row.
Going to turn one.
Yep, we'll see how long this lasts. Rebs coming up, getting ready. Green flag flies. Forza Formula Indy Series. We are underway. And what a launch there. Was that was Michael DeTurk, a monster launch off the line there. Goes all the way up to second place. Beautiful move into turn number 1, and already Logan Spat diving down the inside of Hill as they all make their way through the uphill turn 1. What a launch by the 47 and side by side behind. It's Francicia fighting it out with Nate Siefker, trying to get themselves in some semblance of order right now as more drivers trying to get whatever they can out of this.
Trying to get some going
gravel behind. But right now it's Welker and DeTurk running 1 and 2. Bensi slots back into third. Christopher Hill running right behind them as they head down to the valley. Everyone's starting to get themselves somewhat acquainted with each other at the moment, and this opening lap, as looking a bit further back to the field, a a big fight there towards the back of the top 10, being led by Jared Wakefield, who's also made a fantastic start too. This has been quite the interesting opening lap here. The order has well and truly been shuffled so far, and not really from accidents either.
No, it's been a great first lap.
And Mitch Welker off the final corner, and looking in his rearview mirrors, an unfamiliar sight perhaps, Michael DeTurk, very fast in these cars on a lot of circuits. Let's see if he can hang on to it, about a second in arrears of the 74. Benzie third. Hill, Spath, Svensson lost position at the moment, coming under pressure now from Nate Siepker, and Siepker is fighting it out with Matt Johnston. Very close stuff into turn number 1.
Oh, Nate's here, and I still have his graphic working. Oh, I can't. He's already, well, let's still wish him continued recovery.
Indeed.
Just get well soon, but get well and get quick.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't seem to be missing much of a beat. Former series champion up to 8th, and I would say even
Svensson being pushed out wide.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, Svensson gathers it up, though. And I was going to say, speaking of quick, Mac Johnston wanted to get by that real quick. Johnston started this race on the red soft compound tire, by the way.
We have that up on the tree right now. We have everyone's tire choice up in the tree right now. That you'll be watching that until next couple laps, and we'll bring up the intervals. But primary for your top 2, alternate for P3, primary for 4th and 5th. So the primary choice is the primary in the top 10 for the most part.
Yeah, and also on the move, Christopher Hill trying to make the most of his red tires. He's gotten around Benzie up to P3. Good run so far for the 101. He needs to maximize these tires, that's for sure, especially since it seems, as you said, Gary, the hard compound tire seems to be a good choice here. And with looking at track temps here at the moment, 117 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. It's a bit toasty out here.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, Italy's not exactly known to be a cool place in the summer, but that just means for Hill, he has got to get digging, and he's already catching up very quick to the back of Michael DeTurk.
Couple new things on the overlay that we're rocking. You're going to find out anytime someone turns the purple lap. You'll see it announced at the top of the screen in time, as well as their number and position on the tree, also in purple. So we're always keeping track of that. We're also keeping track of, or at least trying to keep track of on the tree, who goes to push the pass and how many presses of the button they have left. Currently, your top 5, there's been only one push of the button, and that's been Christopher Hill in 3rd. He has squeezed off 1 round, while everyone else in the top 5 has kept them at bay for the moment. But your biggest gainer of the race is DeTurk. We'll get the camera on him. He is up 4 spots, as well as 6 spots for Matt Johnson. We have found him. He is currently in 6th. Up 6 spots. Another 5 spots for Jared Wakefield in 9th. And big gain for Bonomi in 17th, up 7 spots in that Vision 1 team. Or the Cannon team, excuse me. He's right behind the Kyle Allen with the Division 1 squad, excuse me. So we are getting going here. Got to get reacquainted with all these liveries.
Here comes Christopher Hill. He's going to be looking to the inside for 2nd place. A great launch there.
Wow.
He was on. What a run right now.
And Logan Spath and Matt Johnson were under attack there. Both of them were attacking each other fairly hard coming into turn 1. Franchicon pushed the pass. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And these soft compound runners, they've got to make hay here. They got to get digging.
Bonomi was one of the big gainers, has spun out. And what's it, turn 1 area, I think?
Oh, no. And Bonomi, as you said, gained a lot of track position there. Went from 24th to 17th. Having a look at it, looks like contact with the 999. That's Kyle Allen. And just gets bopped into the air and sent around, unfortunately.
I think Bonomi's going to have less damage than Allen. I think Allen lost one part of his
wow. Looking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but looking in chat, it says Nate is still one-handed. The left hand is not race ready, and he is doing this one-handed.
Unbelievable. And running in 8th place, he's actually gained a position so far in this event.
I don't know, when I go to IndyCar, it shows him with both hands on the wheel, though.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to show in the sim, but this is an amazing drive already for Nate Siepker.
Go Nate, go.
In this position.
Go Nate, go. You have everyone here in the booth definitely rooting for you, even though we're supposed to be unbiased, but we do want to see everybody getting well. And again, the situation with him was most disturbing after hearing about it. And I sure hope the guy that did that to him gets the book thrown at him. But anyways, Jared Wakefield having an issue coming to pit road.
Yeah, Wakefield coming in there as I was keeping an eye on that battle for third place. Bensi got around to Turk for P3 at the and trying to catch up once again with Christopher Hill and hoping that he can catch him when his tires start to wear out. But Jared Wakefield,
he switched.
Started off. He went on to the hard compound tire. Very early pit stop here.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite able to find out what the fuel numbers they're expecting here.
You burn about a gallon and a tenth a lap. So you'll be lucky to get 17 laps. If you pit by lap 18, that's probably you've saved. You've saved a lot.
Yeah, so I imagine they're expecting a two-stop race in that regard. So this is it's going to be quite the interesting strategy call. This is like right at the very beginning of when you could possibly consider coming onto pit road. And with Wakefield starting on reds, he's definitely going to be running on these hard tires for pretty much the entire race.
Yeah.
The track's so hot.
Go ahead,
Gary.
No, I'm about to say just a quick note here before we continue on the weather report with the track tip. This track is so new that we do not have a camera pack for it, so we're just kind of using default cams, and they're not the greatest in the world. So we're trying, and here's a battle between Johnson and DeTurk going into one.
Battle on for fourth place. Johnston makes that move work, and both Johnston and Hill, I gotta say, they're making great progress so far on these soft tires.
Eight spots for Johnston, up 8 spots. He's doing a great job.
I think if Bensi can hold serve on the hards, he'll be well served here positioned.
Whoa, you saw it too. I was wondering if he was going to send it right down in there on Bensi.
Yeah, I know Johnston's smart enough to not do that, but that's just showing how much grip is in these red tires at the moment underneath Matt Johnston's 404. He's definitely found a lot of grip, I gotta say.
Okay, go ahead. Weather report there, Clindy.
I was just going to say, the reds light up. If you spin them once off one of these elevation changes, the turn they're going through right now, I spun out there 3 or 4 times in practice.
Yeah, these cars do not. And it's a similar thing we'll see at Mid-Ohio, where we've already been. But coming up into China Beach and down out of China Beach with that little uphill-downhill combination, the cars will get really light there, too, when they come downhill because they don't like elevation changes very much.
It would certainly seem not, and like I said, you've got to be very careful with tire spin here. The red tires, of course, are a lot less durable than the blacks in any case, but with these track conditions here and the way the layout is, like how much load is putting on the tires.
Battle between Seeker and Logan Spath going into one. Nate's clear.
Really fighting it. Yep, and that's Spath. Getting passed by Nate Siefker. What a great drive for the one-handed wonder tonight. Siefker putting in consistent laps here and making moves work. This is it's an amazing drive no matter how you slice it.
You know, it's to his also a disadvantage for sign language if he needs to sign to a different driver for communication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're number one. You can't really do that.
Yeah, it definitely is, and perhaps even in a casual conversation in Italy outside of the car, perhaps.
So going wide there on pit exit, getting squared away. But looking in chat, Mad Mike is the report from the pit road. That is a scheduled stop for Jared.
Yeah, and as I said before, that's pretty much like. Yeah, that's like right up on the cusp of what you might be able to get out of fuel-wise for one more stop in this race. So Jared really seemed like he wanted to get off those red tires ASAP and just run consistently on the hard tire for much of this race here while everyone else burns off their reds.
As I think Johnston's going to mount a charge on Bensi here for third, going into turn 1.
Johnston looking to the outside here. Can he make this pass work? He's got a nose on him.
Wow, great pass.
Braking zone.
Great pass.
What a move. He's going to leg away here through the slower sections. He was eating Bensi up on this portion of the track over the last 2 laps.
Oh, yeah, like this would be the section to pull away from someone on red tires here. These
Here
these
comes
like medium speed scissors. Ooh, Betsy trying to fight him back. Not quite enough at the moment. Matt Johnston holding on to third.
I would have thought that the red tires be kind of fading off right now, but apparently they might be into their prime.
Yeah, with how long these laps are, it seems like the reds are hanging on a little longer than I thought they would as well.
Yeah, it is quite remarkable, especially when you can when you look at someone like Wakefield. Wakefield wanted no part of these red tires.
And like I said, he must have pitted right there at the earliest window to make it one more stop.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the long-range game here. Not too terribly many cars started out on the reds, but not a non-zero number half.
I can bring that up again here. There's your tire report going on.
Johnston kind of overcooked it on exit there. Betsy's now right up on his gearbox now. Not what he wanted to see. Big slide in the final corner there. Betsy trying to squeeze him towards the grass. Heading towards turn 1 again. Johnston with a nose at the line. Can Betsy take it around the outside like Johnston did?
No.
Not quite enough yet. And Johnston holds on to the spot. And
here he comes out in every corner. Johnston is using up those reds.
Oh, yes, he is.
Betsy says,
Ben's going to run on him now.
He has a run, but he's going to be on the outside for the corner there. Johnston kind of overshoots it a little bit. Can Betsy get the run back?
Yeah, but that overshot was fortuitous because it kind of put him in the right position to take the defend on that corner.
Yeah, kind of a defensive overshoot there, perhaps. And I think we're starting to see what you were talking about there, Clendy, about these red tires, because Johnston had major wheel spin on exit of the corner, in the middle of the corner there, actually, in the final corner. And it doesn't seem like his tires are working as well now as they did before since.
In those last 3 corners, Johnston dropped the left sides off in the gravel, and Betsy dropped off the rights. It's so close.
Oh, man.
We are riding with the Kingslayer, Caleb Bensey, and I call him the Kingslayer now because he is the only driver in the month of May to put a chink in Robert Malechka's Indianapolis armor. This is you're looking at the only guy that beat Robert Malechka in a high-profile Indy race all month long.
Amazing. And
he did not take his slipstream there.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make that work.
Yeah, we're riding with him right now here. Caleb got the thin victory in the ERL's race at Indianapolis earlier in the month. And, of course, Robert swept Indianapolis this week, or last weekend. During Indy weekend here on iRacing on the two very popular, highly viewed Indy Open, Indy Fix broadcast. Our own Indy Fix, our own Indy Open broadcast did a good job. Want to thank everyone who tuned in for those.
Congratulations again to Robert. I race with him all the time in Indy Fixed on Tuesday nights and every other night of the week. He does a phenomenal job activating the community in the Discord server and driving high participation strength of field races. He does so much for the community, and he has so much talent on the track. It's absolutely wonderful to get to watch him work his magic.
Oh yes, and having raced against Malechka Malechka as well, the dude is an absolute beast in this car and a great person off it. But looking at this fight again, Johnston really struggling for grip right now, trying to play major defense against the Kingslayer, Caleb Bensey.
And Welker
threw those is flat out.
Meanwhile, up front, and we'll continue watching this battle, but Walker has shot off to a 6-second lead. So Mad Mike is directing the strategy to push, and build up for that delta when he eventually pits here.
Yeah, exactly. And Welker on the primary tire. He's got to switch to reds at some point. And I think that may be a little bit of foreboding at the moment because he's turning mega fast laps on those hard tires. So he's really got to make hay here, and it's really showing how strong Welker is at this track so far, and especially since his championship rival is in the midst of a tussle for third.
At defending series champ there with the number 1. And then the previous season was Welker. So they are the two last 2 series champs, and of course also in the lineup, a former series champ Nate Seifgru, who is now kind of stabilized in 7th spot. So we'll get the camera on him. There he is.
Mm-hmm.
There is Welker in first by 6.7 seconds. Hill, the PRI instruction driver, he is in second, just a second, 1.8 seconds, almost 2 seconds ahead of Matt Johnston. And then this battle with Bensi right there on the rear attenuator of Johnston. Michael de Turk has found himself, as he's rocking a Formula One livery on an IndyCar, will kind of accept that. At least it's not a Kyle Larson livery. I have seen so many of those.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of them. But de Turk here in the, what's that, the Jordan? Is that the old Jordan throwback?
Yep, that's the Benson and Hedges Jordan Honda livery from the early 2000s.
God, I can't believe I called that. Way to go, Gary.
Yeah, very nice one, I gotta say. And like, regardless of what people think about F1 liveries on IndyCar, that one always looks good to me.
Well, if there's another car out there on the surface that a Formula One livery is going to look on, it's an IndyCar. It's when you.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
And even though Kyle's car was an IndyCar livery on an IndyCar, that's fine. It's when you slap the NASCAR livery on an IndyCar, it just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like the Interstate Battery car back of old, that worked. That worked well.
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah.
The old Skull Bandit cars back in the day, yeah, those work. Those work.
Yep.
There's some other ones, the Budweiser cars, yeah, those work. Those work. Meanwhile,
basically 2 color flat schemes.
What's that?
Any scheme that's just 2 colors with a flat separation between them works really well on this car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're even seeing that on Matt Johnston's car, and that one looks fine.
Of course, that is a Team Penske livery that they'll use sometime this year. Expel. Oh, yeah, you saw it too. You got a little loose there.
That was a 4-wheel drift.
Exit. Major 4-wheel drift in the middle of that corner. Benson getting close there, but I think he's just feathering the throttle a little bit.
He's saving gas.
Aha. Interesting little way of doing that, alongside the standard lift and coast technique that a lot of drivers employ, especially at a track like this. Whoa.
Okay, I think the red tires are done now. I think the red tires are done now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're a little bit overcooked. As Betsy lunges in there, tries to ruffle his feathers a little bit. And I should note, coming on the pit road is Christopher Hill. Just came off there, and he has switched onto the hard tire.
There he is.
Yeah, his lead over these two had evaporated. It was about to become a 3-car fight for second.
Yeah, it was, and I think in that case, Hill saw it coming, and he just wanted to get off these tires as quick as possible here, and basically don't do what the other guys do. Like, don't. Yeah, it's like what we saw at the Indy Grand Prix in real life. Like, don't do what the other guy does here. Do something different and try and just hit your marks there. Knock out some fast laps and try and get an advantage.
In the ever-present words of Larry McReynolds, if you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. You're following the leader of the whole race, you're guaranteed to come in second. Bensi, not quite as close this time, but he's got a bigger run. Is he going to try this time? Not quite enough here. But here through the S's, this is right here where the number 1 machine is going to be mega fast over the overcooked tires on Matt Johnston's car. And I think he's enjoying that as much as someone from around here enjoys an overcooked pizza. Which is to say, not very much.
I think Mitch Welker can get a free pit stop in this race. I think he's far enough ahead now. He can take 1 lap in, get the reds, come back in and bolt on the primaries, and still win the race.
13.5 second lead now over this.
Johnston is
Johnston off, yes, but he's back on.
Way to keep your foot in it, Matt.
That was right at the top of the hill. Like, that's like the main place you can.
Actually, I noticed on the overlay right here on it where his name is, it actually said off, and I noticed that. I was like, click back, click back.
That overlay is fantastic.
Oh, he's had enough with the Reds. He's pitting in this time.
Yep, and I hear Welker's voice on the radio here, and is he? No, he's not coming in this time. But Johnston, I think he's had enough of the moment there. Bensy came very close to contact there, but Johnston has well and truly had enough. He's coming on the pit road.
Here he comes. He's down there at the end. Again, not very good camera packs here for default cams here, so we get a long shot down pit road instead of seeing him come around that slow down turn. Let's see if we get a better shot of him on pit road. So all these are awful. That's how I don't want to do the blimp. That's he's behind a sneeze guard shield there. I don't. And then he get behind the wall. See, these are all awful, awful. It's TV static. TV static's too far away. He's way down there.
Yeah, I will admit something. There's a couple of Italian content creators that I've been following quite a bit lately. Johnston
Speeding?
went over the. No, he went over the white line on pit exit. He's got a penalty.
Oh.
He's got a black flag.
Oh no!
Crossed the white line way too soon there, and that little maneuver cost him dearly, unfortunately. What a terrible heartbreak there for Matt Johnston. Like, I gotta weep for that. Like, that was an unfortunate error.
So we'll watch his stop. Yeah, we'll watch his stop. I mean, the stop is normal, and then he's down.
Well, off the pit road.
Puts on the new tires. We're watching a replay, and then down on the way. And here we go. We're at half speed, so it's gonna be a little bit, but we got plenty of time here. It's waiting for the fill. Down and away, gets told to go on the button. Actually, he might not be on the button. Actually, he might be pedaling it naturally. And then this will
before he gets to the blue cone.
Yeah, so he can come off the button here, or go without any speed limiter. Let's put it that way. Go full throttle. And you can't come out before the blue line. Oh, and I think maybe he tried to get back in there unless he was getting attacked by another car and he was trying to defend.
I think it's the mistake, like right as it happened. It's like, no, why did I do that? And
it's a drive-through.
Horrible.
So he's making his drive-through. So. We'll see how he recovers from that. Welker, Bensy, DeTurk, Spath, Seifert, I'll probably say that is Swinson, Mia, in their first race. Welcome to the league in the amateur ranks. Is 6th, Daly 7th, Flaum 8th, Franchica 9th, Dan Marrera, our amateur points leader, is in 10th. Schlosser and Clements, they have not made their first stops yet, as well as Andy Oak, Indica Scarlett, and Peter Donchek. They have not made their first stops yet either. Looks like something's happened to A.J. Digby, and I think he has retired. He might have dropped. I'm not sure. But I'm now showing him plummeting through the standings.
And I'm seeing him plummeting through the connection quality at the moment, so I think you called it. I think that was a connection failure for the 81 of A.J. Digby, and those always hit you hard there. It's absolutely no fault of your own. You didn't even make any sort of mistake or anything happen to you. Just your internet crapping out on you, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, just as we call them, the mechanicals.
Yes, that's definitely what we call mechanical. It's that and your wheel braking.
Your wheel or your pedals or, even your VR, yeah.
Yep, VR I definitely see fairly often because VR headsets can definitely be finicky things at times.
So we're expecting the leaders come to pit road about any time. Your highest person that has stopped in the standings right now is Christopher Hill, who's worked his way up to 10th. Everybody is on the lead lap with the exception of on pit road. Down is Dan Marrera, and again we can't get good camera angles in there. So
Welker on pit road now.
There he is. We can see through the sneeze guards on pit road. And here comes our leader right by him. So good timing.
Welker. Yep, and about the camera stuff, I was mentioning that I've been following a couple of Italian content creators lately, and I think there's one phrase that they commonly say, I think would make sense with regard to those cameras. They are not approved.
And
definitely not approved.
Welker is done, and Welker in the box for 7.9 seconds. A very seems like a fast stop compared to some other folks that raced around him, but he had a longer stop than everyone, so a little bit longer, but a very fast stop, sub 8 seconds on pit road for 32.2.
And Welker has switched to red, so I think this is going to be his short stint before he finally comes on for another and comes back in for another set of blacks. And I'm definitely going to keep an eye on his lap times here. Like, these are going to be the big time laps, I would think, especially with no one else around him. For at least a few laps at this point.
So we will
this
see.
This is going to be where we're seeing purple.
You will see an alert right in the area I circled that if he sets a purple lap, it will pop up right there, and you'll see it right away. So we'll know when he is on a roll. Caleb Benzie is our leader. Michael DeTurt is P2. We have another disconnect. Nate Siefker. Oh, no!
No! Nate Siefker, after a hero's drive, for that to happen, that's a miscarriage of justice right there.
It's heartbreaking.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But now Benzie being scored as the leader. Michael DeTurk holding on to second, about 4 seconds in arrears of our race leader. They got a lap car in between them. Logan Spath, Zach Falm, and Frankie Francicia will be your top 5 as they stand. And with Benzie on lap 19, he's definitely been saving a decent amount of fuel there. I think that little maneuver where he was just sitting in the toe of Johnston.
Can he make this a one-stopper now?
I don't think so.
I don't think you want to. Why would you want to be on the Reds for 20 laps?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking out loud. I'm not the driver expert.
Well, yeah, I'm scratching my head. I don't know why I don't think going long here helps Benzie at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that, especially like as you said, like currently on the hard compound tire, why would you switch to softs for a run that's as long, if not longer?
Especially if you're not guaranteed to save fuel. Like, if you knew you could do it as an absolute certainty, maybe his gearing is such that he can get really good economy. Maybe he's chilling in map 4.
Chilling.
Possibly.
Chilling.
If you can, if you can cut a stop out, you might be able to save time. But, I mean, he's going to podium one way or the other. The question is
all right, here he comes. Coming to pit road now. Now. And let's see if we can get. Yeah, there's a blimp angle that we can get of this. Everyone say hi to TC in the airship, providing us these nice camera shots from high above Mugello. If anyone ever gets that joke, because I use it over and over and over again, if anyone ever gets that joke, could they know? And here is, there is Welker. I told you, a 128.8 purple lap. There it is, top of the screen. Also on pit road is Spath and the Turk. But if anyone gets that TC joke, let me know. Let me know in chat.
I wish I could say, but
I don't want to give it away. I want to see if someone gets it in chat. So, look, they have a go-kart track in the middle of the racetrack there. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
We got a race. We got a battle with Christopher Hill coming out.
This might play into Benzie's hand. He might be able to chill behind Hill and save that lap of gas he needs to go on one stop.
He's climbed the hill now. He's ahead of Hill.
Hill and Benzie. This is
a vintage battle. These guys go back into some of the earlier seasons here. Back when PRI used to sponsor the FIS, these guys would battle out in earlier seasons, Yeah,
this is your willpower versus Dario Franchitti fight of yore. And Hill looking very racy at the moment as Benzie tries to get those tires up to temperature at the moment. Benzie's, as we said before, we're going to expect him to pull some fast laps out of his hat. But how long is that going to last realistically? And more to the point, strategy-wise, what is what's Bensi going to be thinking of doing? Is he going to be running those reds all the way to the checkered flag, maybe? Or is it going to be just a short little stint here?
Christopher Hill
He's the only one who can do it.
Christopher Hill, 3 career wins here in the FIS. Some of those came during the blackout period, which you didn't get a chance to see, but does have 3 career wins here. Caleb Bensi, 7 career wins. Seen many of them here on the stream.
Hill still hounding the gearbox of Caleb Bensi, as that was Bensi's outlap, I should note. And Bensi now getting his rubber up to some semblance of temperature and pressure. Can lay down some really quick laps around here. Welker running 128s, 129s.
And let's point out Jared Wakefield. Jared is now up to 8th.
Yes, indeed. Wakefield, this interesting little alternate strategy working at the moment, but he's basically locked himself into a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, it's like that team has decided to split strategies up almost.
Yeah, it seems like I guess the teams may not be entirely confident that one strategy is better than the other here, which, to be fair, there are merits and disadvantages to quite a few of them, I would think.
Man, Mike. Hey, Mike, how'd you guys do in Indy this last weekend? Did you guys do anything in Indy? You race any of the races? I know, Clindy, you had yourself a pretty decent weekend. You got yourself a dub.
Nice.
Yeah, I found every step of the podium. I finished 3rd, 2nd, and 1st in
nice.
So.
How'd you do? Did you do anything, Steven?
I did 2 fixed races. One of them, I was murdered on a restart on lap 17.
Oh.
Long story and kind of annoying. Finished 9th in the other one in 4th split.
Wakefield coming to pit road.
Yep, Wakefield coming in. Was in contention for definitely a top 5, maybe even a win for quite a while, but the strategy just didn't play out my way. Plus a tiny bit of damage on the right front didn't exactly help.
Bill Hunter, Jello pudding. I guess that's what I said, Mugello. It's like Mugello sounds like something that you have as a dessert in the center plate at Thanksgiving in America. You know, you'll have you'll have a little plate of pumpkin pie, and then you have an apple pie, and then some Mugello with some marshmallows on top. I don't know, but yeah,
and could be an Italian gelatin there. Serve alongside tiramisu or something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe not tiramisu. That's like a very different contrast in taste. But you never know. Actually, probably alongside gelato. That'd be pretty good, especially like a little local thing to me. The town where I live has no less than 3 really good Italian restaurants. One of them has a little gelato bar that opens up in the summer, and I'm definitely going to get me some cups there.
There is a 3-car battle on the track. It's Flom, Bonimi, and
get to it. There we go, right there.
Oh yeah.
Bonomi cut off Flom going into the
16 spots, man.
Half.
He's at 16 spots. He's increased
from 24th to 8th. What a run for Kevin Bonomi. Coming under pressure for sure from Zach Fahm and Frankie Franciccia, the interested spectator at the moment. And here comes Fahm. He's going to be looking to the inside to turn 1. Brave on the brakes there for Bonomi, but it's not.
Franciccia's like, I'm going to follow.
I'll stick my nose in the situation. Thank you very much. Not quite.
Frankie was in the wrong gear here to grab a right one there. Now he's back on it. This is a battle for a 7th, 8th, and 9th right here.
Coming up on these 3 is Matt Johnston, the penalized.
Yeah, Matt Johnston on his fight back run. Started 12th in this race, let's bear in mind, and running in the top 3. What a start. But unfortunate penalty just got him at the worst time.
He just is. I think his driving style just seems to agree with this place. He is really flowing through these curves if you watch him. Let's go ahead and let's ride with him as he runs down Frankie right there in front of him. This place seems to really agree with his style.
Watch those back straight S's. Watch where he puts his tires. They're going to be in the green, and then in the green, and then on the rumbles.
Yeah, and on that first of the S's there, definitely more than half the car was over the rumble strip.
And pit road
coming off the pit
for
road.
Matt. So now this is a scheduled stop, but he had to take that extra trip down pit road for the black flag. So we watch him here as he's getting ready to find his spot.
Yeah, and I'm sure he won't be making the same mistake twice here.
No, hope not. Hope not. Meanwhile, Mitch Welker is back to our leader. There he is.
I should note, Matt Johnston has switched to reds.
All right. This could be his last stop.
Could very well be. It's definitely within fuel range.
Well, and remember, he started on reds.
This is true.
I think he likes the reds.
Maybe he likes the reds. So maybe we should be alert for purple lap possibilities for Johnston. We'll see. Although I'm not sure if anyone is going to game up for 128.8 this late in the race, unless they're on light tanks and fresh tires. So we'll see. The push-to-pass situation for your... sorry about that. I'll let you pick up here in a second. The push-to-pass situation for your leaders. Welker with 6. Caleb sitting on a full allotment of 10. Chris Hill at 7. DeTurk still on 10. Spath with 9. Byron Daly still with 10. Zach Flaum with 9. Bonomi with 8. Franchica with 5. And Mia Swinson, who has worked her way into the top 10 with 4. Or maintained her spot in the top 10. Actually, she started 5th, and she's in 10th, and has 4 remaining. Since we are talking about the lead amateur driver, Mia, I do want to bring up the amateur points, but go ahead and continue with your thought there, Clindy.
Yeah, you don't need a full tank to make it to the end here. Oh, Johnston just lost it.
Oh, no.
In the S's.
Hard in the wall, and that is going to be game over, I think, for the 404, and... what a brutal end there. And I'm sure Johnston was frustrated for that last run, and that is going to be game over, I think. Very unfortunate.
Well, watch it again.
He was pushing really, really hard to stay with Mitch Welker, trying to, I think, probably overtake him to get his lap back and work up the running order again on his cold reds. And he just pushed too hard in the S's, and around it went.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Just... And that to me
is right over the rumble strips. And then also kind of involved in there is Welker bleeps out. He kind of faded out there for a second and then reforms. And then Matt kind of shoots across the track and does a very good job at clearing the track. So no one hits him. But that is day done, or at least a tow for Matt Johnston. Anyways, I want to bring up the points. That's what I wanted to do. Here are the points. Dan Morera, my hero, has a pretty sizable lead there for first over A.J. Digby, 141 to 114. Kyle Allen, third. Sam McDougal, not in today's lineup, is fourth. Andy Oak in the lineup, he's fifth. Schlosser in the lineup is sixth. Hayden Herman in the lineup today is sixth. Cody in the fish car is he is currently eighth in the standings. He's in the lineup. Goyette, I do not think is in the lineup tonight, and neither is Ruval. But a good number of the amateurs are in today's lineup, and they are fighting it out here to the bitter end. Your points leader, though, going into today's race, and should be your points leader coming out of today's race, is Dan Morera. Here are the team points. Stowe Maroon has a pretty sizable lead over New DLC and Project 2. Then there's Deathbound Legacy, PBR Motorsports, Vision 1, Stowe Gold, Eclipse, and 4D Racewear rounding out their top 10. Back to the action.
And Welker working his way through lap traffic there. And I think you had something to say earlier, Clendy?
No, it's just the Johnston deal. I was going to comment on him not needing a full tank of gas, and maybe he'd set a fast lap behind Welker, and he just got too aggressive with the rumble strips. But now we'll see if Welker can navigate past Kyle Allen, who I knew he had trouble with passing at Mid-Ohio while he was lapped, as well as Dan Miglin.
This is right at the tail end.
Canadian Motorsports. Yeah.
Mosports. Okay.
Yeah,
Mosport.
yeah,
Mosport. Yeah.
Yeah, and Welker catching right to the back of Kyle Allen and Matt. Trying to see that's Wakefield. You're right. So
yeah, it's right in front of him. It's Allen and Miglin in front of him, and Wakefield, his teammate, is behind him immediately. Okay, and pit road. Oh, and he's going to have a slower car in front of him. That's going to cost him a little bit.
Cost him a little bit of time there.
Clinty's like, nah, he's got this. He's got this.
Even if Bensi doesn't stop again for gas, Welker's going to come out of the pits ahead of him here. That's how far ahead he was.
Yeah, Welker has just been putting on an absolute clinic here tonight. And Welker's the kind of guy where if he sees a interesting track on the schedule, he sees a track that IndyCar doesn't run at very often, like here in Mugello.
Gets around him.
Yeah,
and he's having a problem getting around that car came out in front of him.
Yeah, that's it looks to the outside.
Yeah, that would have been
clears.
I mean, I don't think Oak did anything wrong, but clearly Mitch wanted to get around him.
Oh yeah.
No, that was Kyle Allen still.
Oh, Kyle Allen. Okay, Andy Oak. Sorry, is in the 906. Sorry. There's Andy Oak. It's Kyle Allen. Yep.
But Welker is really just showing like he's been putting on absolute clinic, and I guarantee you.
Oh, he's blinking out again.
Yeah, he's blinking a little bit, but I got him
again.
I got him like the current connection issues notwithstanding, I get the feeling that when he saw Mugello on the schedule, he saw this interesting opportunity to definitely do something different, and he wanted to focus on this track specifically because a lot of tracks that this series runs at, people know. They're familiar with it with the IndyCar. There's definitely a lot of idiosyncrasies depending on the setup you got and the new rules package and all that, but generally speaking, they know in the broad strokes what to expect. Mugello, you can't really say that very often because, I mean, Mugello doesn't host that IndyCar in real life. And it's definitely one of those events that is supposed to throw people a curveball. But you throw Mitch Welker a curveball, I think he can still hit it pretty well.
Okay, I think we have...
I don't want to say...
Go ahead.
I don't want to say this is like a fantasy track for a lot of people, but if you grew up playing Forza Motorsport on the Xbox 360, this track you raced a lot.
Yes, you did.
It's a track I have very fond memories of from growing up, but I've never really played it on the service.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like with... because I grew up playing the Gran Turismo games, Clendy grew up playing Forza, and for me it was probably more like Fuji Speedway was the equivalent of Mugello for that.
Mine was pole position.
Yeah. So we got one of each. Perfect.
Although I do remember when the first Gran Turismo came out, that was cutting edge, fantastic graphics. That 2 CD set from Sony. That was the definitive racing game on a console. Still,
yes,
I still cut my teeth majority of the time. Yeah, we're watching this battle back here with Hill and Welker, cutting my teeth on IndyCar Racing 1 and 2 though. But of course, this track was, I didn't even know at that time Mugello existed. I think it was built, but it certainly wasn't on any of the Formula 1 games at the time, or certainly at IndyCar for that matter. And here comes Hill on the pit road.
Comes on the pit road, and and that really shows because this track has been around for a long time. First opened in 1974, so it has been a long time. And probably more so.
Don't make it sound that long, dude.
Yeah, and so
gotta remember what year I was born in.
Not all of us.
1974, long time ago.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where a season like F1 in 1976 is pretty much ancient history with James Hunt, Niki Lauda. You're looking at mythology by comparison. But Mugello, I don't think what really helps the case here is that it's definitely more familiar to people in motorcycle racing circles, not so much four-wheelers. Because it's been a staple of motorcycle racing in Italy pretty much from its inception.
After this,
right, so
we go.
Welker,
Go ahead. We are just walking on. This is how rusty we are. We're just walking all over each other today.
It's got the Indy brain fog.
Oh man, I know.
But Welker can now see Bensi right in front of him. The gap is under 2 seconds. Let's see how hard Benson fights. If this is his winning strategy, he's going to at least defend.
Yeah, he's got to defend.
What he's got.
I don't think he's going to make that turn down pit road. Here he goes. And Mitch is being very patient. A lot of people by this point be like, man, I got 8 laps to go now. I got to hit the button and catch up. And Mitch is like, I'm running my pace. And he is running them down. Now 9/10, drives much steep. Look how much he eats into that 2/10 and just turn 1 alone.
Yeah, Bensi last time by was a 131.7. Welker was a 129.4. This is a monster run right now by Mitch Welker, and Bensi struggling on the tires he's got
he's
here.
There.
And look
he's
how
there
much
now.
he's gaining.
He is there now.
Insanely hard to pass in the next few corners. Downhill, right, then left, through the valley.
And the championship will continue on to Interlagos next, and then we'll wrap up at a track that we're all familiar with, and that we'll be visiting this week in the IIS at Road America. He is there, and he is almost in the back.
Almost touched his rear attenuator there. Very close stuff. Mitch Welker knocking on the door saying, "Hi, I'm back." Look at the run he's going to get here. Look at all the grip. Look at all that grip. You can see it. You could definitely see the grip that the 76 machine has got underneath. Bensi sitting in the middle of the track there, forcing Welker to the outside. And Welker trying to get the launch off the corner.
But it just gets Welker a good launch off the corner. And here's the pass. He's on push to pass. Push to pass.
Bensi's
on push to pass too.
He's on the push to pass too. Still on the inside for the corner there. Welker dives it around the outside there, but Bensi comes back. Still side by side. Not quite enough. Welker back to the lead.
And I believe that might have been your pass for the win with 7 to go here at Mugello.
Bensi a bit squeamish there on exit there, but what a drive right now by Mitch Welker. 1 pit stop more at the moment than Caleb Bensi, but still getting back up to that race lead. That's just showing the pace that 76 machine has got here in Tuscany.
All right, so back to third is Logan, who's 10 seconds behind, and he's in his own battle with the Turk, and Hill is also right there, I believe. No, it's just the Turk. Hill's back. Hill's back a considerable ways. He's back about 21 seconds from this battle. Excuse me. So if Logan can survive the Turk and can reach Caleb, then we'll see if there's a team decision to let Caleb keep the position for points. So we'll see if it gets to that situation. There are no rules against team orders here in the league. They can do that if they want to. But that is a viable decision, as we are now 2 rounds after this in the championship, and every point in the top 3 is going to matter here, taking us all the way to Road America. I don't know about you, but actually I'm very intrigued by team orders. A lot of people don't like it. I think if you don't like the player, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, and there's definitely times where, being real about it, there's definitely times when team orders are warranted. Especially, if you're in a pitch fight with another team for the championship here, and someone's got definitive pace over the other, you want to get that over with as quick as possible so the other guy can go about their way and build up a gap or run down the guy in front. There's definitely a lot of nuance to it, I think. And I think a lot of people in racing discussions and racing forums and things of that sort, they tend to only pigeonhole themselves in team orders are good or team orders are bad. It's heavily context dependent, I think. I definitely think that one of the most infamous example, German Grand Prix in 2010 with Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa. That was kind of a sketchy sort of arrangement there, but others, I could definitely understand it. But looking at this fight here, I'm not sure if that's going to be too much on the mind of Logan Spath. He's looking in his rearview mirrors and seeing that yellow and black number 47, Michael DeTurk, all over the gearbox at the moment. And let's see what DeTurk can do. He's been hounding him these last few laps.
Another close battle in the top 10 that I want to shout out, but take a peek here with real quick. I don't want to go too far away from this one. This is the closest, highest battle in the top 10. The next highest battle is Byron Daly in P7. He is 6/10 behind Frankie Franchica. There is Frankie there in the ice cream colored car right in front of him. Or maybe cotton candy. Either way, now I'm hungry.
Yep. And Byron Daly, kind of an understated run here tonight. 11th to 7th, very solid run for the 66. And
I don't think he's running with teammates tonight. I think he's doing a solo effort. I think he runs with Dakota normally, and Dakota not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And Daly
battle
to the
for
inside
the position in the one, sends it and give the spot to Daly.
Yeah, Daly was running quite a bit faster, about a second faster over Franchica on that last lap here. And now he just needs to hit his marks and start to make a run up maybe to 5th place. I don't think he's got too much time to work with here, but 6th place, still a very good run for the 66 crew.
So I think we now have maybe a new nickname or something for Mitch. As Mad Mike says, we always trust in Mitch's pace. So I guess in Mitch we trust. In Mitch we trust. Doug South, happy to see Mia running the new AAIR livery with the Open Medicine Foundation. Yes. And we will, let's give her a peek in on her progress. Down 3 spots, but a solid 8th place right now. Bracketed by about 3 seconds, 4 seconds up to Franchica, who just lost that position down to 7th and has a 13-second lead over Schlosser for 9th. So at this pace and currently in this position, I love the car. Very traditional Formula One style look. But actually a kind of a Shelby look with the way they have the stripe down the middle. But nevertheless, what she's doing here is good. And pretty much if she just maintains pace and hits all the marks and everything's good to go, looking at an inaugural top 10 finish here with about 4 laps to go. So a good run.
And as competitive a league as this is, that's definitely not something to scoff at, I would say. Svensson has been consistent, very solid all race long, maybe muscled out of a spot or two, but that was just the way that people had to drive this track. But it's been a bit understated, but a very good first race. A great debut so far for Mia Svensson. Yeah,
and going to basically win in class there. Basically, she's 8th right now. Schlosser 9th. That's the 2nd in the amateur division. Going down, Donchak is 3rd in the amateur division. The amateur leaders not having a swell race. Dan Marrera, yeah, I hate doing this to him because he is my hero, but he is down in 18th. He is the amateur points leader. I have to shout him out, otherwise people are like, well, where's the amateur points leader? What's going on with him? Well, he is down in 18th, so probably this is not his best race of the season, but at the point he's still looking at bringing the car home for another finish. I think that's the key thing out of all this, and then survive and get to these final 2 weeks. But speaking of surviving and getting to these last couple of races, Mitch Welker, 3 to go, your leader by now, 7 seconds. That's how far he's pulled away and so quickly over Caleb Binsey that they were just fighting together for a position no more than 3 or 4 laps ago.
Yeah, and these two still going at it pretty hard at the moment. DeTurk still not finding a way around Logan Spath. Spath's been defending this pretty vigorously, and now they've got no less than 3 lap cars to deal with in this fight for 3rd. This is going to be an interesting curveball thrown at them. Yeah,
that's going to be Miglin, Donchak, Scarlett, and Bonomi are going to be in front of this group. Each one of them is kind of running their own race. So there's Donchak's going to be slow to the inside. Whoa, I think Logan's checked up a little bit. Here comes DeTurk.
Oh, not quite able to use that lap car as a pick just yet. But Spath wants nothing to do with getting held up by these guys at the moment. And lap car lets them go for the moment. 2 laps to go. This time around, Mitch Welker pulling out an 8-second lead right now over Caleb Bensi. What a showing that Welker has been putting on here. It's one of those great races for the 76 crew.
And currently in front of him is one of the Stowe Squad cars. There we go. Easy for me to say. And that is in the form of Joey Clements. Joey is currently in 11th spot. Good race for him. Up 4 spots. Maybe if something happens here the next couple laps, we'll go back to that battle with the Turk and Spath. If something happens to someone in the top 10, Joey will get himself a top 10 finish, but still looking at a 11th, nevertheless, is still pretty good.
As DeTurk was once again getting right up on the gearbox of Logan Spath in these slower corners here. With 2 more lap cars to deal with, this can set up some interesting opportunities coming into the final lap. Welker off the final corner now, taking the white flag. 1 more lap around Mugello. The Turk, once again, still kind of holding station at the moment here. Coming up will definitely be the best opportunity he's got for a podium.
On the button. Both of them. Well, actually, one of them's on the button. Now they're both on the button.
Both of them on the button. Turk on offense, Spath on defense. The draft could be a factor here. That lap car could be a factor here. Spath defends to the inside.
Oh!
Looking outside here to Turk.
Full send!
Oh, an outside move. He's going to hold on to it, I think. He's going to have the inside for the next corner.
Oh.
Brilliantly done. Michael DeTurk. Can Spath counter, though? Not quite enough at the moment. What a move around the outside in turn 1. Took a page out of Alex Albon's book when he did that here when F1 raced here back in 2020.
Couple more turns away for our leader. Looking at, I believe this will be his 4th win of the season. And another win in the hat for the team and for the squad and for the championship. And overall, in team history, looking at 14, now 15 wins. 64% of the time when this man gets in the car, he's normally in victory lane. And here he is once again. Another win here on the stretch run for the championship in the FIS.
Grazie, ragazzi. Mitch Welker does it again. Bensi now over the line.
And
second place.
The Turk looks like he's got this position covered. Spath hasn't been able to keep contact. And the Turk, former plain white wrapper driver, is coming home 3rd in the Jordan.
Beautifully done. What a move. And definitely do some wiggling there to celebrate that, DeTurk. Take a hat off for that.
Can't imagine Logan is too happy.
No,
giving up that spot, that podium spot. Christopher Hill, great run for him in a top 5. Byron Daly coming home as 6th here. Here he is. And Franchica coming home 7th. And Mia. Welcome to the league, Mia. Happy to have you here. And she tries to give a run there at Franchica, but comes up just a little short. She will finish 8th. Congratulations and welcome to the league. Jared Wakefield in another one of those team cars. He will come home in 9th on that alternative strategy. Up 5 spots, so it did gain him some stuff. Don't know how much it gained him. Yeah, and Zach Flaum, very quietly just racking up another top 10 finish here for Zach, here in the number 20. And then Joey's, I think he's already taken the checkered flag, but Joey Clements will finish 11th. So that is going to be our race for today. And let's get the final standings up here one more time, shall we? And there we go. Mitch Welker with the win, led 33 laps. Pretty much dominated the day, and then had a 13-second cushion to victory there over Caleb Bensi, who finished 2nd. Mike DeTurk in third, Logan Spath fourth, and that final lap battle there. Christopher Hill fifth, Byron Daly in sixth, Franchica seventh, Swinson eighth, Jared Wakefield ninth, Zach Flaum 10th. But look here, the thing that really gets me is that 4 of the top 10 did a one-stopper. Benzie did a one-stopper, DeTurk did a one-stopper, Spath did a one-stopper, and Franchica did a one-stopper. So DeTurk finished up 3, Spath finished as is, Caleb finished as is, and Franchica finished as is. So really, you didn't, the gain wasn't there on a one-stopper that it would seem. A one-stopper makes sense because you're moving less, or you're moving more, stopping less, but it really wasn't that beneficial here for some reason. I don't know if it's the car, the track, whatever, the pace that everyone was setting the day, but something interesting there. Somens finished 11th, Schlosser 12th, Scarlett 13th, Allen 14th, Donchek 15th, Barrera, our amateur points leader, not a great day, lost 8 spots, but he has 2 more rounds to clinch that championship. He did finish ahead of his chief rival, which was Digby. That's good. So he is 16th, Claiborne 17th, Oak 18th, Bonemi 19th, and Hayden Herman in 20th. Again, another one-stop crew. Somens with the one-stop, Scarlett with the one-stop, Donchek with the one-stop, and Andy Oak with the one-stop. Again, I'm not sure how much it really benefited all of them. I'm looking at a lot of them were like minimal. Donchuk, I think, gained 6 spots with his one stop. That might have been the best one stop performance, really. Miglin 21st, Johnston, unfortunately, running up in the top 5, in the top 3 at one point, had that incident, and that off cost his day. Finished a 22nd. We had disconnects, DCs from Seifert and Digby. Seifert was running up in the top 10 one-handed. And that's just not saying something. He was up there one-handed, and he finished 23rd, and Digby 24th. And I think JJ, I don't know if he participated or not. He might have been doing race control. I'm not sure, but I don't remember seeing him on the racetrack. But finished 16 laps down in 25th. Hey, if he finished 16 laps, he had to be running. So I just really didn't see him. Sorry, JJ. Next time we'll get you on the broadcast board. All right. And shall we head to the interview room? And here is Michael DeTurk. And what I'm going to do here, Stephen, if I'm going to let you run the interview here while I queue up some replays in the meantime. Hey, Michael, got you here in the booth. Gary, Clindy, and Stephen. Stephen, go ahead. I'm going to let you run this one, and I'll catch up.
Well, first of all, Michael, congrats on P3, and what a way to get it, too. That last lap battle there with Logan Spath and that outside move that sealed it. What was that fight like?
That was good fun. Great race with Logan. Kept it clean the whole time. Yeah, I wanted to try to grab the lead there at the end. We were both fuel saving pretty hard. I was barely hitting my target number staying behind him, so I knew he was going to be pretty marginal at the end there, and figured I would just try to get on the button on the last lap, pass him there, and then defend like mad for the rest. So I think he was pretty much out of fuel. I think he may have coasted across the line, but I was pretty close too.
Oh my goodness. And that's one interesting thing we saw in this race. There was no like clear-cut optimal strategy. Some people went for one stop, some people went for 2-stop races. I believe if I remember, you went for a one stop, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And I imagine you had to save fuel during that whole affair there. And what do you think was the big driver that led to a lot of split strategies tonight?
For me, I found the setup to be very challenging. I had pretty solid understeer on corner entry and pretty heavy oversteer on corner exit. So I knew if I tried to drive this set aggressively and really go for the standard 2-stop, burn all the fuel off strategy, I was just going to melt the tires in like 4 laps and it wasn't going to work for me. So very early, pre-race, I decided that I was going to fuel save the whole race, And the only time that really became a challenge for me was I had that mega launch off the grid. I jumped from 6th or 7th up to 2nd.
Yep.
And then it's very hard when, you're behind Mitch or Caleb or one of those guys and they start pulling off in the distance for you to go, just lift and hit your marks, hit your fuel number.
Oh yeah.
Don't get on the gas.
Right. Race. Don't over exceed your limits. Race the racetrack. Yep. I hear you.
Absolutely.
I hear you.
Yeah. And it seemed like saving fuel was something you could definitely achieve pretty well. I'm guessing there was a lot of lift and coast involved, and I've seen some drivers even just trying to sit in the slipstream of the guy in front going down the front straightaway here. Do you think that was? Do you think it was challenging to save fuel here, or do you think that was pretty easy to work through?
I don't think it was necessarily challenging to save fuel in terms of physically being able to do it, but the willpower to not race people when you see, Christopher Hill going on a 2-stopper or Mitch just pulling away, that's always a challenge. But 9 laps from the end, 10 laps from the end, Logan had been closing on me, and I thought he was probably hard pressed on fuel, like I said at the start. So when he got close, I wasn't going to let him fuel save in my draft. I just lifted down the front straight real early, like finish line, and let him go by and was like, I'm just going to hang out here and see if I have enough to push to pass one at the end.
Clever stuff. And of course, Mugello, not really a circuit that we tend to see much in IndyCar competition. Was it a track that you were familiar with going into it on iRacing, or was this all like a new challenge for you guys?
I've done a few races here and there, Super Formula, maybe an IMSA race or two. So I knew the layout. It wasn't fresh to me, but I haven't driven IR18 there and was looking forward to that challenge.
Oh yeah, and it seemed like a lot of people were, and definitely give your shout outs here. And actually, one little thing before I do, a quick little novelty question, I guess you could say. Since we are in Italy, what would your favorite Italian dessert be to celebrate after this race?
Isn't cannoli the obvious answer?
That's definitely a really good one. Yes. I love cannoli, man. That stuff's good.
Who doesn't love cannoli? It's just like fuel saving. It's difficult to do the right amount.
Yep. For me, gelato's up there pretty good too.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yep.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone you want to say hi to for this. This is what, second podium in a row for you?
Yeah, took second at Indy and third here. So getting on a little bit of a hot streak after no podiums. So I'll take it. Thanks to you guys for the great broadcast, all the people that make this series possible. And unfortunately, shout out to cannolis for what they're going to do to me.
All right. Well, we will catch you next week at Interlagos.
Sadly not. I will not be here, but thank you.
Oh, no. Well, will we see you at least for the finale at Road America, possibly?
That's definitely the plan.
All right. We got to get you an IndyCar livery for that one, though. You can't be bringing the Jordan to Road America.
Well, I didn't want to give you the plain white one more week in a row, so something fun.
You picked a good one in our book.
Well, at least I was able to recognize it. I'm not the Formula One guy. I'm like, isn't that a Jordan? I'm
sure people saw the F1 livery and were like, at least it's not Red Bull, but he'll probably
exactly. And at least it's not that Visa Red Bull, the new one that everyone you see that was driving around. But thank you very much. I do appreciate you being here today. Congratulations. Unfortunately, we will not see you next week. That's too bad. But hopefully we see you at the finale at Road America. In the meantime, go celebrate whatever form you wish with maybe something Italian, maybe something not Italian for getting your podium.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice night.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's bring up, we got Caleb now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Caleb, got you here in the booth. Went with the one-stopper, eh?
Yeah. Credit to Logan finding that one out earlier today. He just messaged me about possibly doing a one-stopper and did a couple laps in practice and thought it was feasible. So figured why not.
Let's talk about I know something I wanted to talk about in the race that I kept forgetting, and things kept happening, but I know you weren't very happy coming into this race with the latest update that iRacing did in terms of they kind of changed the force feedback feel of the car, to where you really had to turn force feedback up to kind of get the response that you were used to. Did you ever find a setting that got the car back to a setting that you enjoyed or liked? I mean, it looked like you had the pace here today. Would have had anything for Mitch under ideal circumstances, or it was just kind of, this was really just a bad week, and finishing second was the best that we're going to get out of this?
Yeah, I don't think I really would have had anything more with any of the old feedback or anything. I mean, with fuel save, I was just kind of stuck in the box I was stuck in. I mean, obviously, probably could have been better here and there for sure, but had hit that number, which was a little harder in the race than it was in practice, just based on, higher race pace than you kind of just lollygagging around in practice. But yeah, the force feedback thing's been very, very frustrating, but you can get it back to a place where it feels, from like a weight perspective, very, very similar. Like that you can get that feeling the same. But in terms of like actual detailed feel, it's completely missing a lot of the detail, like in the track feel. Like I've almost 8.0 force feedback level in iRacing turned all the way up to about 15 now, so it's almost doubled. And you run over curbs and you still can barely even feel the curbs, because the tires just feel like they're not even touching the track. So you can get the weight back, but you can't get any of the feel, which is kind of tough, especially with dealing with some of the like rear slides we're dealing with here. But I mean, everyone's doing the same thing, at least for this race, but I really, really hope iRacing gets on top of it.
Well, the championship at least is going to move to another week, and certainly how close you guys are together in the championship points, it's going to definitely move down to the final race. Thoughts on what shots you got at Interlagos coming up next week?
I don't know. I guess somewhat optimistic. I'm not a big fan of Interlagos. I don't know, we don't race there too often, but I just feel like it's a lot of switchbacks, kind of slow. And
you're one of the admins. You don't have to schedule it.
We're of the people, everyone gets some tracks they like and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it'll be fine, I guess. But it's just, I don't know. I don't think anything, like, even if I win a couple races here, I don't know if I almost need some outside help or luck to kind of get that gap I need at some point in the standing. So obviously not out of it, and we'll be pushing pretty hard to get a couple podiums and hopefully wins here in the next few races. But yeah, just kind of at this point, just trying to maximize what I can maximize, and I think I feel pretty confident that at least did that tonight.
Well, I was telling people during the broadcast that the new, I don't really have a nickname for you, just former champion Caleb Binsey, but I believe we got one for you here, the Kingslayer, because you were the only one in the month of May that put a chink in the armor of Robert Malechka at Indianapolis in big profile races. You were the only one. Of course, he won both the double on Indy 500 weekend. He won the fix and won the open, and of course, the next biggest race out of all that is the ERL Indy 500, and you edged him out at the line. So you were the only driver all month long when it counted, when the money was on the table, when it really mattered the most, that was able to beat Robert Malechka, now the king of Indianapolis, at Indianapolis. So you are the Kingslayer, the only driver that can say they've done that.
I like the sound of that. I didn't know he won both. So that is pretty cool knowing. I guess that was one of the only ones.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean that win definitely is. I don't think anything the rest of this year is going to top that. So, I mean, ultimately, he wants this championship here and everything, but getting that Indy win is definitely one of the coolest wins of my career. So
for sure, and I was very happy to be there calling it for you.
Yeah, me too.
Any shout outs? I know the fam's watching, of course. Hi, fam. Shout out from me, of course. But anybody else want to say hi to friends, families, teammates, sponsors? Go right ahead.
Yeah, like you said, as always, thanks to parents, grandparents, family, friends, whoever's tuning in, as always. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to all of you too for RaceVerse and everything. Great broadcast as always, I'm guessing. And yeah, shout out to Logan. I know he was pretty close to that podium, and he was pretty bummed there. But
yeah, we figured he would be. We figured he would be, because send our condolences. But he put on a great battle there. If you go back and watch it with Deturk, so he has nothing to be ashamed of. I think he just ran out of time, really.
I think he's probably done 2 ever field save races. So yeah, he did a really good job. So shout out to him. And then yeah, obviously Blossom Road Flowers, Amigo Sakura, all the above there. If you haven't checked them out, please do as always. And yeah, I guess we'll hopefully try to continue this momentum in the next couple races.
Yep, you got it. We'll see you at Interlagos.
And also,
go ahead.
Yeah, kind of the novelty question of the day. I already mentioned this to Michael. Since we're in Italy, I figured I may as well ask this of the podium finishers if I had the chance. Your favorite Italian dessert to unwind with after this race?
Oh man, I don't even know what a Italian dessert. I'm gonna offend Kresge or something.
We'll put another tick in the box for a cannoli.
Yeah, like
yes, if that's
it's like,
yes.
like I'm thinking like cannoli, tiramisu, gelato, stuff like that.
Definitely on the cannoli.
Okay, another tick in the box for cannoli. All right,
yes.
Congratulations. We'll catch you next week.
Yep,
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you guys.
All right, and we will bring up now Mitch Welker. Hey, Mitch, finally got you in the booth with Gary and Clindy and Steven. Wow, just a dominant day. Right out of the box, put on a blistering pace, got yourself a huge lead, built up that delta, and it almost just seemed like at that point forward, just hitting your marks, hitting the schedule, and not making any mistakes.
How we do it. You've been here long. You've watched me long enough.
I know, man. I mean, that is the Mitch Welker recipe right there.
Yep. We dialed it up pre-race. We were a little, back and forth on the tire situation. The middle red stint and then the final red stint was actually, that was 2 audibles in a row, actually. We were originally going to do black, red, probably. So, yeah, big shout out to Mike, obviously, for staying on top of things and calling that up for me. That was probably faster than doing black at the end, I think.
How often do you dial up audibles, you guys? Do you do that an awful lot? I know you practice an awful lot. I know you guys come in with a pretty concrete plan, but how often do you go Omaha out there?
More often than you'd think, since the track temp and the conditions and the track surface are often a fair bit different from what I test in. Like, for some reason, the UI won't let me load up in the FIS conditions, even though I go to like the leagues and load up. So I just test in like default conditions just to get an idea of what tires will do. But the real calls come when we get in the race and we watch ourselves and we watch anybody else on the other tire, and or we watch ourselves on that other tire, and we kind of sometimes need to just change things up to make sure we're staying on top of stuff.
Man, another benefit for people watching and anybody, the other competitors, if you can get yourself kind of someone working the box, so to speak, it's a huge benefit. It really allows you to focus in on your driving and leave the math kind of up to somebody else, right?
100%. Like, Mike's got a spreadsheet and a calculator and like notes, and it's more than you think that he does. And he was managing me and Jared tonight too. So big shout out to his workload and his
2 top 10s. Yeah, a winner and a top 10. Yeah, so very, very, very impressive. Let's talk about the championship now. You came into this as a leader. You're going to leave as the leader. Now we got 2 rounds to go. I would suspect that these next 2 tracks are probably solidly in your wheelhouse.
I'm going to be more confident in Interlagos than Road America, because I don't run a lot of Road America, and others are generally pretty good there. It's just not like my strongest track. It's not like a Belle Isle where I can clearly be away. It's everybody else runs Road America a lot too. So I think that'll be maybe my tougher one, but I think Interlagos should be safe if we run our normal prep.
Last question. This is for Stevie. Your preferred Italian dessert?
Preferred Italian dessert?
Because we are in Italy.
After all.
I've not had enough Italian to say.
I think we're going to have to put another tick in the box for cannoli again.
Sure.
Cannoli wins. Okay.
Well, what are my other options?
Tiramisu. You also have gelato. What else?
Shoot! I forgot about gelato. It's gelato.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, something different.
Gelato recovery. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
That was Italian.
shout outs, friends, families, sponsors, anything that you would like to get off your chest here on the mic. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, I guess I haven't shouted out our partners in a while, so thank you very much to Lazy Rocket, Open Medicine Foundation for staying on board with us. They've been cool for rocking with us, and we've been rocking with them and their kind of motivations and goals they got going. So thanks to them. Thank you to the entire Project 2 team. Thank you to Mad Mike, obviously, on the box. We got Jared as well, the other driver, finally coming in tonight. He works for SMT on race weekends, so it's not often he gets to come over here. That's why he's been missing a lot of the weekends. So shout out to him finally getting to be at home to run a race. And if Alan, if you're watching, I hope you are. I hope you enjoyed the race.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, sir. Back in victory lane after a tough Indianapolis, but back in victory lane when it really counts here in the stretch run 2 races ago after this. We will catch you at the next one in Interlagos and see this championship continue for at least another round.
You bet. See you then.
See ya. There is a Mitch Welker recipe. and we just called it out. Run away from everybody, hide, pit in the Delta, run away from everybody and hide again, pit in your Delta, and then run away and hide and win.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to find the ingredients for that, but he's certainly found it, especially here tonight. And great race overall, but what a show from Mitch Welker, and what a fight throughout the field there. This race really did throw the curveballs that you'd expect of a track that not many people have driven in these cars.
Plenty, what's your final thoughts here, man?
I think that the tire deg was worse than we thought. I went back and watched the replay, and I saw the Stowe cars had corded their left front tires.
Wow.
Both of them. Both, yeah, so I think that may have cost the podium position there for Spath at the very end, but we'll never really know the full tale of the tape because we weren't sitting in the cockpit. But what a great race overall, and I'm so glad to be on these broadcasts and get to share the booth with you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, it's you're always on top of these pit strategies. I don't know how you do it. And
you have Mitch Welker's pace. I didn't mean to be dismissive of the one stop, but when Bensi was saving fuel behind Johnson at the beginning, I knew the one stop was on the table. I knew they were going to do it.
So you guys, and then I know that Steven's out there finding the nearest battle to call, and all I have to do is move the camera at the right time. I mean, you make my job. You guys both make my job so easy. So I really, really appreciate you guys extremely much. Very, very much. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Mugello is Mitch Welker, another win on the season. Caleb Bensi, another podium on the season. And Mike the Turk there, finishing third and his second podium, but it's going to take the next week off, unfortunately. So that's going to change up the standings just a little bit, but that is your podium here from Mugello. Everyone go get your favorite Italian dessert now. Join us next week as the teams and drivers move to Interlagos. Coverage begins right around 8:50 p.m. Eastern time. Again, it's 8:50. And we won't skip out on you if you don't miss us. We won't miss you. And we are happy to have you join us once again here next week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so do us all a favor and hit like and all that good stuff. And if you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell. We do appreciate everybody that watched from home. I always like having Mad Mike calling the strategies and then calling a shot here in chat. It's like that game of horse you saw Jordan playing with Bird, off the roof, off the floor, off the backboard, nothing but net, just like that. That's Mad Mike there on the box. So keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar in all of iRacing. Hey, we know what Indy means, all of us. And good news also, speaking of that, FIS will be returning to us next season. So we will be bringing you the same action here when they come back sometime before the new year. I don't know. We'll see. We don't have a new season yet, but we could probably say that safe to say that we have talked with them, and we will be renewing our agreement and this in relationship And it's great because this is where the FIS started, and this is where the FIS should stay. So thank for them for going with us for another season after this. So for Stephen Larkamp and Clindy and everyone here, I am Gary Gotso, the voice of the FIS, saying all good night, and thanks for watching. And all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Catch you again next week as the championship continues to Interlagos for the next race of the Formula Indy Series. Good night, everybody.